Hey guys, I'm Tiffany,
I'm Stephanie.
and we're Sisters of the South, back with another Thanksgiving video. Hope you're having a great month of November.
Absolutely.
Before we get started, we just want to remind everyone to please hit that like button at the bottom of the screen, like and share with anyone that you feel needs a day of Sisters of the South. And please subscribe for more true crime content every week, which is absolutely free. All right. We also want to give a little shout out to our friends over at SoFly. SoFly. And I'll let Stephanie tell you a little bit about them.
SoFly is a small family-owned business here in Houston, and they specialize in embroidery and in laser work, and they will put that on accessories such as keychains, hoodies, beanies, caps. They do our merchandising as well, and they do beautiful work. They have an array of different colors, and they will take just an ordinary cap or hoodie, and it will make it absolutely beautiful and extraordinary. And it's also a great gift to give to loved ones and family members and friends. And don't forget, the holidays are coming up, so you need to start looking and getting your orders in so you can get them in time.
I need to hit them up for a couple of items
ASAP, because they're getting super busy, guys.
I just realized what month it is.
Yeah, it's November. So get your orders in so you can get your beautiful merchandise. They have great customer service. They'll work with you on whatever your needs are. And we're actually going to give you a little video here so you can kind of get an idea of what kind of work they do. So here we go.
All right, guys, I hope you all enjoyed that video. Please go check them out. Let them know we sent you. And now we're going to get on with the story.
Yeah, we're going to link their information in our description box. So please check them out. So yeah, today we're going to start with a story about Kelsey Berreth. She was born on September 15th, 1989 in the state of Washington. Growing up in the lakeside city of Moses Lake, she had a constant companion, her brother Clint Berreth, who is 2 years younger than her. He said that they did everything on the family farm together. Kelsey wanted to be a crop duster when she was a child. Aviation was her passion.
Very cool.
Isn't that cool? So I thought that was pretty unique.
That's not something you hear, especially from girls.
Especially, yeah. So she obviously is a unique person.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Kelsey was a light, her Uncle Scott Morin recalled. She lit up a room and she lit up your heart. After graduating from high school, Kelsey set out to achieve her dream, enrolling in a flight program at a local community college. Kelsey not only became a pilot herself, but soon got a job working as a flight instructor so she could share her passion with others. In 2015, another aspect of her life seemingly began to fall into place. She met Patrick Frazee, a Colorado rancher and farrier, through an online dating site. Although he lived more than 1,100 miles away in Florissant, Colorado, a romance soon bloomed and Berreth moved to Colorado, where she got a new job at a flight school there. Florissant is about 104 miles from Denver and 34 miles west from Colorado Springs, just to give you an idea of where the location is. Not long after that, the couple learned they were expecting a baby, and in October of 2017, they welcomed their daughter, Kaylee. Although Berreth was living in a condo in Woodland Park and Frazee was living at his family ranch about 20 miles away, the couple worked together to care for their young daughter. They got engaged and made plans for the future. But unfortunately, those plans came to a sudden halt. So let's talk a little bit about Patrick Frazee before we get into the tragedy that eventually would occur. He was born on November the 1st, 1988 in Colorado. After completing high school, he joined the University of Miami. From there, he received his master's degree and soon started his career as an investment banker. I couldn't find anything about his childhood, unfortunately, or his upbringing, which I think could hold the key to many answers on this horrific situation. But this is only my opinion. It's strange to me that you can find a lot of things about Kelsey's story, but there's not a lot about him. So, with that being said, Kelsey suddenly, unfortunately, disappeared on November the 22nd, 2018. She was last seen that Thanksgiving morning on surveillance footage at a grocery store with her younger daughter, Kaylee. Kelsey had spoken to her mom twice that day. She wanted a recipe for cinnamon rolls and mentioned Kaylee wanted Honey Nut Cheerios. This is the last time Cheryl, Kelsey's mom, would speak with her. Cheryl reported her daughter missing after more than a week went by without being able to contact her. It's not in her character to just take off and be gone, a worried Cheryl insisted at the time. And I must say, if she's talking to her daughter daily, and of course it's the holiday season, and then all of a sudden it goes dark, that has got to be terrifying, especially when you don't live that close to your daughter. You can't just get in your car and go check on her.
Well, I was thinking a week's a long time, but if you don't live near that person,
yeah, you just think she's busy, and it's holiday season, they're busy. But then at some point you got to think, okay, I'm not hearing back.
Right.
This is unusual. And I'm sure her mom probably pondered, is this the extreme? Should I be doing this? But out of worry, she decided to make, in this situation, the correct decision.
Oh, yeah.
So Frazee told investigators that he had not seen his fiancee since Thanksgiving Day. And mind you, this is a week later. He had not heard from his fiancee. And
who lives with him?
Well, no, actually at this point they had kind of separated, and he was living out at the farm. I read some things where they had separated and he was living back out at his family's farm. And then I heard that he was staying at his family's farm due to work.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little hazy.
But was that supposed to be normal? I mean, he's got a daughter.
Well, that's the thing. A whole week you've not spoken to your fiance or
your
even
daughter.
checked on your daughter. So a whole week, and no alarm bells are going off. So it took the mother to actually.
Oh, there's alarm bells going off, just not on that part.
Red flag. Red flag. Listen, if I'm gone for a week and Bruce hasn't called the cops, there's a problem.
Questioning.
There's a
your
problem.
Husband.
That's a problem. Okay. So
he's gonna be like, it was quiet.
Yeah.
I didn't worry about
I didn't even notice. I mean,
my family would, because their underwear would not be washed. They'd be like, oh my God.
I mean,
I have no underwear.
I mean, maybe Bruce thought, well, she just got sick and tired and just flew off. I don't know. It just, that is alarm bells for me. If my son-in-law had not seen my daughter in a week or heard from her, and then I'm checking in, he's like, oh yeah, I hadn't heard from her in a week, I'm going to start thinking something strange.
Well, I'm going to say that your son-in-law knows we're a little on the crazy side. So he knows better.
Right. Yeah. He'd probably call and let me know immediately. But, it's just weird. And I don't know if Cheryl immediately thought, red flags were flying, but for me, it would definitely.
To me, a week just seems like a long time.
That would be suspicious. A week is a long time if you haven't heard from someone that you should be or are constantly in contact with.
And I know the holidays are busy, but you usually talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. It's starting to make plans. Mm-hmm. So Frazee claimed that not long after he had last spoken with her, that she called him on the phone and broke up with him, continuing to hash out details of their breakup via text message in the days that followed. So basically, he's saying, and then this is where it's kind of hazy for me. Were they completely broke up? Were they having issues? And then she decided to break up, and then they're hashing out details. So maybe that's his way of setting the stage that this is why I didn't hear from her for a week.
Or maybe none of that happened.
I'm beginning to question Mr. Frazee at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So on November 25th at around 5:13 p.m., Berreth's phone pinged miles away in Gooding, Idaho, before going quiet. A surprising detail that left authorities perplexed. Initially, authorities had to consider whether the young mom had simply gotten overwhelmed and walked away from her life. But when Berreth's brother discovered a blood smear on the toilet in her condo, it became all too obvious that she had likely met a much darker fate.
Okay, so did I miss something, or where is the daughter?
Um, we'll get to that.
Okay, so I
We'll get to
didn't
that.
miss something.
So basically, what
I mean, they're all
happened
worried about her, but where is the daughter?
the last time Patrick Frazee had seen or heard from her, he had come to her condo and picked up their daughter.
Oh, so he had her.
And his mother, and we'll get into it later in the story, and his mother was watching the daughter while he was working. Red flags, right?
Lots of red flags, because a mom is going to be looking for her daughter. Every day you want to talk to your babies.
Yeah, you're going to be reaching out, touching base. And if
That's more of a red flag to me than him not calling to talk to his daughter.
And if you're a present mother, you're going to be on that, right? And if you're a present mother, you're not going to be okay in the middle of a breakup with just handing over your daughter quite that easily. I mean, that's been my experience. You know that your child's sound of mind is going to be good with you most of the time, no matter what situation you're in.
Plus, that's kind of like your security blanket, right?
Right. Exactly.
Your children.
Right. So, crime scene analysis used a blood visualizing agent in the bathroom of Kelsey's apartment or condo and discovered someone had cleaned up the room, which had been covered in blood. Investigators with Colorado Bureau of Investigation took a close look at Frazee's phone and found that he had recently been in contact with a woman living in Idaho, not far from where Berreth's phone had last pinged. Okay, here we go, guys. Red flag. Who is this woman in Idaho, and why is Kelsey's phone pinging over there in that area? It's not just a hop, skip, and a jump over to Idaho.
No.
And why would Kelsey go to Idaho? She doesn't have family there. Like, what's the connection?
Yeah, what's her
here?
connection?
So the cops are going, okay, there's something strange going on here. The woman, Crystal Lee McKinney, was a former rodeo queen who worked as a senior nurse at a local hospital and had 2 young children. We knew that she had a family. That was about it, CBI agent Greg Slater recalled. She didn't have a criminal history or anything like that. CBI agent John Grusing made an initial call to Kinney, who was in Las Vegas at the time for a rodeo event with friends. Kinney first claimed she didn't know who Berreth was and denied knowing Frazee until Grusing pointed out that their phone records told a different story. And I find this strange because if I get a phone call from a law enforcement officer who's asking me, do I know someone? Obviously, there's proof that I do, right? I mean, am I missing something here?
They didn't pick your number randomly.
Exactly. I mean, and this is a person from a different state. So they're not just going to randomly just, let me
Hi, ma'am. Do you happen to know this random person?
Obviously, the guy that she's talking to has a girlfriend and she knows him. She knows what's going on at this point. Obviously. But why would you flat out lie? Because I don't know. If you're smart, they have some information, something that links you to them, right?
That's a red flag because you don't want them to be like, oh, well, we have this, this, and this. This makes you look bad.
I just don't think that she's very smart.
Or she's scared.
I don't care how scared I am. I'm going to be honest.
No, she knows something.
Okay. Well, she's scared and that makes her lie. That's no excuse. I'm sorry. That's just stupidity.
Isn't that what we were just talking about earlier? Sorry, guys, off camera. Yeah. About how people admit to murder because they're scared.
They're scared, delirious, and admit things 61 times. But they were delirious. They were scared. They wanted to go home. Let's just admit it.
See, my fear works differently.
Mine works completely differently too.
I'm just trying to help a girl out when I probably shouldn't.
My fear makes me angry, which means I'm going to be more stubborn in that situation.
My fear always makes me angry.
Yeah, because I don't like that feeling. But nonetheless, she claimed she had made the 13-hour drive to Colorado on Thanksgiving Day to talk with Frazee about a horse they owned together, but that he told her he didn't think it was a good time to sell the horse, and then she just turned around and went home. Sounds like another lie to me, but
That is a long drive
to talk about a horse
that you could talk about over the phone.
Well, now you can just if you got to see the person, do a video chat. Right? I mean, technology has come a long way.
Did she take the horse, look at the horse?
I don't know.
Was the horse involved?
What's the point, right? So, I mean, the police aren't stupid. They're not believing her. They think she's lying. And investigators went to speak to the divorced mom of two in person at her home in Idaho. While she didn't reveal any new details, Kenny got herself a lawyer and came to authorities 3 weeks after Berreth's disappearance with a shocking story. So let's just lie 2 times and then all of a sudden lawyer up, which probably wasn't a dumb thing on her part at this point. I don't have a problem with her lawyering up. But then now we're going to all of a sudden tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth 3 weeks later.
Sure.
And you've done lied twice. So, now I'm ready to tell the truth.
Sure.
Which could be, maybe it's just as simple as that. But at this point, I don't know that she has there's no integrity at this point. So Kenny claimed that she had been having an on-again, off-again relationship with Frazee since 2006. Investigators say she believed he was her first true love, and she craved his approval, but that Frazee initially didn't reciprocate her strong feelings, and the romance eventually fizzled out. But by 2018, the pair had reconnected and started an affair. Kenny said she initially had no idea Frazee was engaged to another woman who he shared a child with. When she found out, he plied her with the false stories about Berreth being an alcoholic and an abusive mother, which,
of course,
I mean, he's got to have an excuse for being unfaithful, right? And it's always the woman's fault.
That's what I hear.
She's an abusive mother. She's crazy. She's an alcoholic. She's bipolar. Whatever those kind of people like to throw out there. It's not his fault.
Never.
It's Kelsey's fault.
Of
right?
Course. Poor guy.
Your typical narcissist. And, let's be honest, Kenny fell for it. She's all about it. Because at this point, she's all in.
She's in love.
She's in love. And you believe everything.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, he started telling Crystal that Kelsey was an abusive mom, that he had had people watching Kelsey, and that he was concerned that Kelsey was going to hurt the baby, if not worse, Grusing said. So, I mean, he's driving it home. I mean, she's a horrible person. She's a bad mother.
So she's not asking questions at this point?
I would be asking a million questions.
Yeah,
what are you doing? Or what are you not doing? Like, why is she acting like this?
Why are you with me and not with your child that's being abused?
Or why aren't you leaving her
and taking your
child? If you have all of this, against her, why don't you just leave, take the child, and file for custody?
She's in love. You just don't ask questions.
Everything he says is the truth and nothing but. So authorities say that's how Frazee convinced Kenny to agree to help him get rid of Berreth. So he's over here saying, look, I'm not going to be able to do anything about it unless I off her. And I've got to have your help because we're in love. And that's the only way we can be together. I mean, I can imagine all the things he's telling her, and she's eating that shit up. Eating it up. And of course, let's be honest, more than likely she wants to believe that Kelsey's a bad person.
Of course she does. It makes herself feel better.
Yeah, she's wanting to believe all the horrible, horrendous things because this is the man that she loves, and
she wants him.
She wants him, and she wants to believe that the woman that took her away and had a baby with him is just a horrible person. She wants to believe that. The first plan was for Kenny, which Kenny is not only a rodeo queen, but she's actually a nurse. Okay. So Keep that in mind. So the first plan was that Kenny was to lace Berreth's favorite Starbucks coffee drink with prescription drugs. Kenny knocked on Berreth's door in September of 2018, pretending to be a neighbor, and offered her the drink. Berreth took the drink, but must have never drank it.
Wait, what?
Okay.
So some strange neighbor comes
Yes.
up to your door and like,
Yes.
hey, buddy, got you a drink, and
Yeah.
you're going to take it?
Someone you've never seen.
I'm
'cause she
not going
doesn't
to
live
take
there.
it from the lady that lives across the street that I barely know.
No, that's why I'm saying this woman ain't
I'd
very
be like,
smart.
oh, she's trying to get rid of me.
And this is not a reflection on nurses out there. I think nurses are extremely smart. I think they're
Yeah.
very talented. They're special. It's a calling. But this specific woman, Kenny here, she's not very smart. Not only
But wait,
not only is she believing everything that this narcissist is telling her, but she's also letting him talk her into trying to commit murder.
and then wait, but I'm still confused. Kelsey took the drink from a stranger?
Well, probably Kelsey was very polite. And you know, from what
Yeah,
we read
I
in the
wouldn't be.
beginning, she lights up a room. She's sweet. She's kind.
Okay, there's lighting up a room and being sweet and then seeing a stranger at your door trying to give you a drink.
Yeah.
No.
Well, she probably, because
No.
obviously she didn't get sick from it. She probably took it, went in the kitchen, dumped it in the
Poured
sink,
it
and
out.
threw it
I
in.
still wouldn't. I'd be like, what the hell are you doing at my house
Yeah.
with a Starbucks drink? I don't know you.
Yeah.
But I'm not that nice when
I
people
would have
knock
had a
on
lot
my
of
door.
questions. Where do you live? Oh, next door. I've never seen. What do you drive? I've never seen.
Are you new to the
before.
neighborhood?
Yeah.
And why my favorite Starbucks drink? How did you know? Wouldn't you bake cookies or, I don't know, bring some muffins?
Yeah, but Starbucks is kind of a personal thing. Everybody has their own
Special
specific
drink. So, and she had her favorite drink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, or
seems
whatever
very-
the drink was.
I'm sorry. I'm just suspicious of
I'm just-
everyone.
I'm not buying a random person a $7 or $8 cup of coffee, especially if I don't know how they like to drink it. It's
No.
just weird. Again,
The
going
whole
back
thing
to
is weird.
this woman is not very
She's
smart.
in love. She's blinded by everything.
Maybe that's what made her stupid. I don't know. But
Love? Come
well,
on,
I mean, I'm
guys.
just love
Let's
is
be
blind.
better than this.
No, I agree with that, but this woman's not, she's not checking all the boxes, okay?
Or any of the boxes.
She's a couple of French fries short of a Happy Meal at this
I'm going to
point in
say
life.
the whole damn package. What is Guys, let's be better.
Yeah. And don't take that coffee when the strange neighbor shows up with a cup or
With your favorite
even
drink.
At this point, I'm not even taking cookies, okay? I'm not taking nothing.
I mean, but you would expect something like that, like, hey, I baked some muffins. I'm your new next door neighbor. They'd have to be a close neighbor, but I don't do that.
That's just
I'm not
weird.
nice, guys.
I'm not either. Not like that.
I really don't like
I don't
very
even
many
bake
of my neighbors anyway.
cookies. So I'm definitely not baking cookies for the neighbors. It's just not going to happen. I might buy some, but I'm not baking them.
Not for the neighbors. I'm going to eat them myself.
Right? Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, when this plot failed, which was, I mean, to me,
Obvious.
it was obvious it was going to fail. But when this plot failed, Frazee was enraged with Kenny.
He should have found a smarter girl.
Right. Well, and maybe it was his idea, which I'd have been like, you're a dumbass. You want me to do what? But she's in love.
I would have already
She's
been
in
out
love.
of there. He's asking her to commit murder.
Well, I know, but she's in love. So,
Sure. Okay.
so, he's over here. He's enraged, and he instructs Kenny to return to Berreth's townhouse with a metal pipe. He told her to use the pipe to beat Berreth in the back of the head. Okay, so now it's not, okay, the poison didn't work. So now let's go to the extreme and just get a metal pipe.
Is she supposed to knock on the door again?
Well, I mean, who knows? Yeah. She's the neighbor. She's knocking. Hi, it's your neighbor.
At some point, guys, don't open the door.
But after driving to the location, Kenny heard a dog barking, got spooked, and left.
Oh, okay.
Now, but let's be honest, most women that have committed murder in the true crime community, we know the stories that most women will poison someone before they shoot stab or beat someone to death. That's so personal. It's a lot, and it's traumatic. I mean, I mean, you got to be a specific type of person to be able to
Yeah,
pull that off and be
obviously.
able to live a normal life after that, you know. Um, so, she left, and I'm sure she knew Frazee was, again, he was going to be enraged. But in a third attempt, Frazee instructed Kenny to take a baseball bat this time. Okay. All right. You couldn't do the metal pipe. Let's just do a baseball bat. But once again, while sitting outside Bear's house waiting, she saw a police car drive by and decided to abort the plan. Honestly, I think at this point she's making shit up. Who even knows if she went over there? Right? She's probably like, maybe if I just fail each time, he's going to just give up and
Well, and
say,
not just that, there's always going to be someone driving by or a dog barking.
it's a townhouse slash condo.
There's a lot of people.
There's a parking lot. There's neighbors. You're not getting away with this. So obviously her intent was never to kill Kelsey. Honestly, I think she was just going with the flow and just keeping him interested or engaged somehow.
Entertained.
Or just, I don't know. It's strange. So she was madly in love with Patrick, and that overruled all her common sense and her judgment, Gruesing said of Kenny's willingness to attempt to carry out the horrific crime. I mean, at this point, everybody's just like, look, this woman, when she is in love with somebody, she just gets stupid. She was book smart. But past that, the woman don't have a lot going for her at this point. Kenny would later testify in court that Frazee, seemingly fed up with the failed murder attempts, took it upon himself to get rid of Berreth himself. She testified that on Thanksgiving, Frazee convinced Berreth to play a game where she tried to guess the scent of different candles. After tying a sweater around her eyes as a makeshift blindfold, Frazee struck his unsuspecting fiancée in the head with a bat, while their young daughter was still in the house. That is horrifying. And evidently, Kelsey still had she had no idea. She probably didn't have any idea about his affair, from what I gather, with Kenny. But she's thinking, oh, he's being so sweet. He's wanting me to smell these candles. And that might have been something that she enjoyed, because I enjoy candles. And
yeah, but I want my eyes open.
Well, that's kind of weird. He must have made a game out of like, smell this and tell me what scent you think it is. I was trying to figure out, because if Bruce said, let me blindfold you while you smell these candles, I'd be like, well,
why?
That's weird. Why you got to blindfold me? So I think he probably made a game out of it. Let's make a game and see how many of these you can get right, since you're a candle professional. I don't know. But she went with it. But unfortunately, it didn't end well. So a blood spatter expert would later testify in court that Frazee beat her with the bat 10 to 15 times. After the brutal attack, Frazee called Kenny and demanded she come and clean up the crime scene. So she's up in Idaho riding her horses.
No.
Yeah, she's up in Idaho riding her horses and gets a phone call, and he goes, hey, I got a mess for you to clean up. Since you couldn't do the job, I did it. So now I got a job for you. So the call basically is, you need to come now. You have a mess to clean up, Gruesing said. So
I don't.
Kenny
would be what I said.
Kenny, being the in love little puppy dog, gets in her car and drives all the way there. Kenny gathered some cleaning supplies, a coverall outfit she usually wore at the hospital to protect herself from bloodborne pathogens, booties, a hairnet, a box of gloves, and some bleach, and made the 13-hour trek to Colorado. So she's so stupid over Patrick Frazee, but she's smart enough to gather, all of these cleaning supplies and protection while she's cleaning.
Well, yeah, she's not an actual stupid person. Maybe just when it comes to men and and her feelings.
Well, she's book smart.
I love my husband.
I have no other word for her.
There is no way in hell I would do what. No.
Nobody could talk me into that.
No.
Nobody. As a matter of fact,
Maybe she's more in love with him, right? She loves him more than anyone's ever loved anyone.
in her mind,
Well, yeah, clearly.
that's not love, though.
No, it's infatuation.
Yeah, and which can become toxic. And so, yeah, I use the word stupid, but I have no other word for that. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Once there, Kenny headed to Bear's condo and stumbled on a horrific sight. When I first walked in, I saw blood all over the floor. She told investigators of her actions as seen in a chilling video. I saw blood up the wall. I saw blood on this wall. Kenny gathered all the blood splatter items she didn't think she'd be able to clean, like Kaylee's blood-soaked stuffed animals, in a trash bag, and then set to work scrubbing the home clean. As she cleaned, she found a human tooth on the floor. And I don't know why this surprises her. If she's a nurse,
Because it's just blood at that point, right?
yeah,
Not her
yeah,
body.
and he's beat her in the head with a baseball bat, there's gonna be some, blood, of course, blood splatter, hair, and of course you're hitting someone in the head and probably amongst the face. I'm surprised she found only one tooth, to be honest with you. I don't know why this seems to surprise her at all.
Maybe it became more real.
Maybe.
I mean, I would think blood all over the house would be
that would
real,
shock
but
me. Just the smell alone.
maybe it takes a tooth.
For Kenny. So Kenny told authorities that although she agreed to help Frazee, she purposely left some blood spots behind for authorities to find later. After cleaning the townhome, she headed to Frazee's ranch where she watched him burn Berreth's body in a black plastic tote.
Okay, so why is she leaving blood for the cops to find if she's helping him out?
Yeah, because she's just in case he does something to her.
Well, obviously he's going to because he's done it once.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, all love would be out the window for me. Even if I felt that, once I knew someone did this to their spouse or fiance
or could do that to
anyone in general, there would be no love. Immediately, I think, would dissipate for me. And I damn sure wouldn't be there cleaning up the mess. I would have called the law immediately.
Yeah, she's 13 hours away.
Yeah. So, I mean, worst case, he's going to fly there, but by then he could be detained by law if she would just get on the phone and do the right thing. But she's probably freaking out. Well, he's going to tell him that I had attempted to help him, 3 other times. But at that point, it would be his word against mine if there wasn't any proof. But again,
she wasn't there.
She's 13 hours away.
That's
so
a big distance. She's not 13 blocks away.
Well, obviously she can't think through fear.
Oh, sorry, I forgot who we're talking about.
Fear or love. It just drives her batty. She says, I also threw in all the clothing that I was wearing, plus a pair of shoes that I'd been wearing while he was burning the body. So she was smart enough at this point to go ahead and throw in her bloody clothing because, of course, if there's that much blood and you're cleaning it, you're going to have that all over you. So I guess the protection that she wore and everything, she just threw that in and burned it with the body. Kenny said she returned home to Idaho, taking Berreth's phone with her. She used the phone to send text messages to Frazee and Berreth's employer in an attempt to mislead investigators before destroying it. Kenny agreed to testify against her one-time lover as a part of a deal with prosecutors that allowed her to plead guilty only to tampering with evidence. A month after Berreth disappeared, Frazee was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, solicitation to commit murder, and tampering with a deceased body. Why on earth did it take a month? That's a long time.
I'm just sorry. I'm still on the here, honey, take her cell phone with you back to Idaho.
And text me.
Yeah. So
text me that she's breaking up with me. Text our arguments back and forth about our daughter.
Don't text me from town. You want me to take it all the way back?
And now, not only that, yeah, red flag. She has a dead woman's phone on her now. So that doesn't look good for Miss Kinney here. That doesn't look good at all.
Well, really, nothing looks good.
Nothing looks good, but that's even is just bad.
No, he's trying to frame her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so he can move on to the next, because he's probably, I don't know. It never said, it never, this is my speculation. He probably already had a side chick
Why
for
not?
his side chick.
Why not? Use this one to get rid of the wife.
Yeah.
Use the other one for everything else.
He's probably got many girlfriends. I don't know. My opinion, I don't know. But he didn't pick a very smart one, and I think he figured it out.
He may have done that on purpose.
May have done it on purpose. Let me get rid of her too, and I'll move on to the next one.
Why not?
So his sensational trial began a year later, which that doesn't surprise me. Actually, I think that's pretty quick. I think the trial started quicker than the arrest of him. A month later, he was arrested, and then he sits in jail for a year, which typically there's a couple of years that goes by. So they move pretty fast getting him to trial.
Once they got him there.
And Kinney served as the prosecutor's key witness, as authorities also presented phone records, surveillance footage, and a jailhouse snitch who testified that Frazee wrote him notes behind bars asking him to take out key witnesses from the case, including Kinney and Berreth's mom, Cheryl. They all need to disappear, he wrote in one note. It took the jury just 3 hours of deliberations to convict Frazee on all the charges against him. He's currently serving out a life sentence plus 156 years behind bars, which, get him off the streets. He's dangerous. Kinney, who was originally sentenced to 3 years, had her sentence reduced to 18 months in 2021. She was released from prison later that year.
Now, did they happen to mention if they got her mental health
Nope.
help?
No.
Because she clearly needs it.
Yes, absolutely she does. She absolutely does. And she, I'm no doctor, so I'm just saying maybe she's one of those people that is a codependent who, once she's in love, that's her person. She can't function without that person. And that may just be a personality trait that she has. But I mean,
probably
she needs some therapy.
But
for this not to happen to her again.
Yeah, because it could easily happen.
Yeah. Because
predators attaches herself to people that are no good for her.
Yeah, and predators see that vulnerability in people and they latch onto it.
I fully believe he used her to get rid of his wife.
Oh, absolutely. I think that,
How does she feel about that?
Well, he had already had a relationship with her, and then once he gets in, and they broke it off, and then once he gets with Kelsey, all of a sudden he's interested again. He wasn't interested back then, but now all of a sudden he's interested.
Yeah.
So yeah, he probably knew what we've already discussed, that she's a couple of fries short of a Happy Meal. And
but what was the reason for getting rid of Kelsey to begin with? I mean, couldn't you just leave? I mean, you're not married.
Yeah, it definitely isn't because he's madly in love with Kinney. Absolutely. No. I don't know. They didn't say, did give information. Was it for a life insurance policy, which probably wouldn't make a lot of sense because they were only engaged, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe he just decided he didn't like he didn't like Kelsey anymore. I don't know.
People. I'm not planning their murder.
Right. Just leave. I don't know. It's very strange. He's a dangerous person.
Yeah.
But Berreth's daughter, Kaylee, is now being raised by her maternal grandparents, which I think is appropriate. I don't think that Kaylee needs to be with Patrick Frazee's family. I think that it is very appropriate that Kelsey's mom and father are raising her, and maybe they can keep her memory alive. Her grandparents can keep Kelsey's memory alive for her mother.
Yeah.
And I think that was the best decision the court could have made for Kelsey. So, our thoughts and prayers, especially Thanksgiving come up, they go out to the Berreth family, friends and loved ones of Kelsey's. We pray for healing. We pray for Kaylee. and hope that somewhere along the line you can find peace. And Patrick Frazee, may he burn in hell. That's my opinion.
And I do hope that Kenny got help for
Mhm.
her issues.
Yeah, she definitely needs it, because if not,
I mean,
she's
we
gonna.
kind of laughed and joked, but it's not really very funny. I mean, she really clearly needed help.
Well, I'm just gonna stand firm on my opinion. She definitely needs some therapy,
Yeah.
but she also,
You make your own choices.
yes.
But she obviously had those insecurities that she needed help with, or she wouldn't have attached herself to a man that could talk her into doing anything.
Well, I know a lot of insecure people that wouldn't be able to be talked into something
I know some that
that
could.
horrific. You do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not me.
I didn't say it was, yeah.
But it's not me.
I'm never going to name names, but I know people that would do anything just for that love and attention.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a
You
lot
know
of
them
people
too.
out there. Oh, well, we'll have to talk about that later. Now I'm curious.
Sorry, guys.
Now I'm curious. But yeah, she definitely needs some help. The scary part is she has children.
Yeah.
So, what she did not only affected herself, but it affected her children, because she was in prison for a little while before she got released. And now, from my understanding, she's not going to be able to be a nurse anymore because she has a felony on her record. So she let a man come in and entice her or lie to her and talk her into all these crazy things. And now she's basically lost everything she worked so hard for. And yeah, I have my opinion on her. But yeah, she definitely needs some therapy.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And, I'll lift her up in prayer as well, because she definitely needs them.
Yes.
She has to live with that for the rest of her life. I wouldn't be able to trust my own. I wouldn't even be able to trust myself if I had fallen for something like that, which
Hopefully she's
wouldn't.
learned
Well,
to not trust so much.
we definitely.
I mean,
hope
there's
so.
love and trust, and then there's, hey, honey, can you go kill this person for me?
Yeah.
That's on a whole different level.
Yeah. Well, we'll just pray that Kenny makes better choices.
Yes.
How about that? So, yeah, guys, have you heard about it? What do you think? Leave us some comments below. We like to hear your opinion on it. And of course, if we got anything wrong, there's some of this is limited information while doing your research. But if there's anything that we missed, or your opinion or whatever, just leave it down in comments below. We like to hear what you think and what your opinions are. But we are going to call it a day for now, and happy November. Happy holiday season. But we're going to leave for now until our next episode. Remember to see the good
and stay imperfectly perfect.
Thank you. Bye.